Welcome to my YouTube channel, and thank you for joining me. If you click like and subscribe and the little bell, you'll receive notification every time I upload a video. So what's going on here? But I want to give a shout out to these two men. Pictured here is Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte, who are investigating the Smiley face killings of these young college men. These are retired New York City detectives. Kevin Gannon allegedly mortgaged his home, allegedly maxed out credit cards, had cancer for 18 months, and still won't stop. So I wanted to give a shout out to these men. So, the painted smiley faces. Is this a serial killer, gang-related, not related, just totally accidental deaths of college students getting drunk? What's going on here? We're going to start this story out with back in 1997 when a young man, 21 years old, college student, athletic, very academic, and very popular. This seems to be who they go after. Athletic, college age, and these students are seen leaving bars and parties, as was the case with Patrick McNeil. All right, so they were on this case, and he disappeared February 16th, 1997. So in 1997, when he was found, Minnesota, from 1997 to 2003, there were 19 deaths in Minnesota and Wisconsin, all college age, very academic, seen leaving parties inebriated, and all men, found floating in the rivers or lakes, okay? 2003, 30 to 40 cases. Their deaths are either ruled accidental drowning or undetermined. So the detectives on this case, this is what started them. They're not going to give up. That brings us to our second young man, and his name is Dakota James. On December 15th in the evening of 2016, Dakota James called his friend Shelly in a panic. He was cold, disoriented, scared out of his mind, wandering the streets of downtown Pittsburgh. He was trying to find anyone who would help him. "I don't know where I am," he told her. "I'm so cold," and he told her that he was lost. She didn't hesitate. She was thinking, did he get mugged? Did he get beat up? And she just told him she was coming. She hopped into her car, remembered she could use her cell phone to figure out where he was because he'd enabled the location services on the cell phone so that GPS would tell her where he was. So when she texted to ask him where he was, though, he said, "I honestly don't know." Very interesting. She arrived 10 minutes later around 11:30 p.m. As she pulled up to the hotel, she saw a dark SUV in the wrong lane, facing the wrong direction, and Dakota was walking out of the hotel straight toward the SUV. "I pulled up not even 10 feet away from the SUV," she said, "and I said, 'Dakota.' He turns, looks back, came over, and got in the car, and we left." He wasn't slurring his words. He was walking a straight line, not staggering. His clothes were not disheveled or wet or dirty. He was emotional, still crying, and he was scared, but he did not appear to be drunk. "What happened?" she asked. "Are you okay?" He didn't want to talk about it. He said he became aware that he was walking on the street, had no idea how he got there. So the last thing he remembered was leaving the Christmas party and heading to some bars with some co-workers. Isn't this interesting? So the story goes on that the next day he thanked her for picking him up, brushed the whole thing off, and said he had a bad hangover. Well, that was until he went missing on January 25th of 2017. And then he had made a PayPal transaction on 2 days later, right? But on March 6th of 2017, 40 days later, a woman walking her dog saw his body floating in the Ohio River 10 miles from where he was last seen in downtown Pittsburgh at 11:49 p.m. This is interesting. His death was ruled accidental drowning. So His death seems to fit the profiles of other suspected victims: smart, athletic, popular, college-age white men who went out drinking, never came home, and were found in lakes or rivers with graffiti of a smiley face nearby. So this is going to be quite an interesting case. I don't want to get into too many of the details because there's shows on this. There's so much on here, and I want to dive into it with, the tarot cards. But I do want to say that in the Daily Beast article, Dakota James' parents were not allowed to view his body, just the ankle that had a distinguishing tattoo. Why? Why weren't they allowed to see the body? They didn't get autopsy photos till August of 2018. That's when they noticed marks on his neck, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Allegheny County medical examiner, police, and district attorney would not respond to their questions. However, they'd be open to new information. Why? Why would they not respond to questions? And why are so many of these young college men why are they not looked into? They just put undetermined or drowned. So Chris Jenkins, 21-year-old, Minnesota, in 2002, found floating in the Mississippi River, initially was ruled a drowning and then suddenly changed to a homicide. The parents have participated in the Oxygen show, which is covering much of this. So what is going on with these young men here disappearing? Is this the work of a smiley face killer? The FBI actually believe that this is, lots of people paint smiley faces. Nothing to see here. Go away, folks. However, Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte are not giving this up, okay? They are convinced this is a gang. They're convinced that they operate on the dark web. They believe that they have cells in cities all over the United States. So we are going to go to the tarot cards and we are going to ask. So the first question that we're going to ask the cards, actually, I designed my own, I'm in the process of designing my own murder mystery cards. So they are at the phase where I'm just handwriting on them. So please be forgiving because these cards are just handwritten and I haven't gotten like the flow of them. Let's just call that yet. So I'm just going to ask my own detective cards. What do we have to know about the smiley face killers? And then I'll go to the regular tarot. Look at this, folks. Serial killer. Serial killer. That's card 1. Usually I pull 3 cards out of here. This is some type of serial killer, but I do need to put killers on there with an S. I need to do that. There's more evidence at the scene. So this means that maybe some of the evidence is not collected all the way. Like there's, they just pull the bodies out and they don't really look further. And look at this, folks. Details are missing that are necessary. And I think that this is interesting that when Dakota James' parents got the photographs, they said, what are those marks on his neck? And they hired an independent investigator, all right, and that was forensic pathologist Dr. Cyril Wecht, and he ruled that there's strong evidence that this was a strangulation, that he may have been strangled based on the photos that they turned in. So why are these deaths, why are the police so resistant to this? What's going on with that? But let's have our first question. I'm going to ask the Omega Land deck, what do we have to know about the smiley face killers of these college-age men? I like to leave it open. What do we have to know? Because I like to leave it open like that and let the cards just kind of let the story unfold. Let the event death. Oh my, death. I don't know if I need to bring this up to you to see, but look at these young people. Okay, so this brings me to another thing. Dakota used his phone his PayPal account was tapped into, or maybe by him, maybe by someone else, we don't know, allegedly, 2 days. And so there's a theory because the 2 detectives said that the bodies are not decomposed enough to be out in these rivers for up to 40 days. It's new. so it doesn't make sense. So they have a theory that these young college students are being held somewhere and then killed at the last minute. All right. So this is going to be very interesting to see what the cards are saying, because this is being held, and more than one in some cases. Or look at that. The cards are depicting young people, and there's a shadow figure there. And this can indicate darkness, such as the dark web, such as they could have a code name on the dark web for what they do. They could be stalking these students, because how else are they going to know that these are athletic college age men? How do they know where they're drinking? There's an alleged theory that they're using a drug to drug them. And based on Dakota James's encounter with the friend, we would suspicion that. So that's card number one. Now, this in itself shows us that the shadow person is watching these three young people. It's this, this is a little creepy. This is the Queen of Cups. And look what's in the background. There's a building in the background, and feels like it could even be secluded. Feels like it could be secluded. And this is interesting. Look at those tennis shoes. I don't know why I'm focused on the tennis shoes. I just make a note of it. Focused on tennis shoes. That's what I say when you don't always figure things out. The cards will give you clues. So here is a room. Somebody's given water or something to drink. They're given something to drink. Ace of Cups, something to drink, something to drink, something in the drink. See the two cards? Something in the drink. They wake up and they're in a room with a small window that doesn't really lead anywhere. Something to drink. All right. So, okay. This deck is very interesting for looking at insights into murder mysteries. We're then going to go to the Haunted House Tarot and say, I want to ask the question, are the smiley face killers, is this a group working together on the, you gotta be so accurate with your questions, because in tarot, the question is everything. So if you think of questions that I should be asking, please put them in the comments. I really appreciate feedback on this. Is this a group of serial killers acting together? Well, here you have it. There they are in their cult with their hoods on. Yeah, you got the answer there, right there. Now, some people will say, Melanie, why aren't you using like the definition of the cards? In murder mysteries, and I'm new to them, okay? I haven't done that many. You can go back and look. I have not done many murder mysteries. I just thought that I would see if the cards could give us insights. That's all I'm doing. This is a big kind of test. But look at all the hooded figures here. When I asked if this was a group, this is a cult, you guys. This is a group. Look at all the hidden cloaks. We don't know who these people are. Now, the Six of Wands, if I go to the regular tarot card meaning, that's the victory card. That's like, yay, people are cheering you on. That's not applicable in this case. I wouldn't even want to look at that. So, on the murder mysteries, once in a while, I will look at the meaning of the card. Most of the time, not. So I had to purchase decks that would reflect what was going on. Now, this indicates that they are choosing victims from happy, well-adjusted families. In other words, and that's what the police also had a theory, is that they're choosing, affluent families, these popular college-age men who come, from happy families, and they're destroying the family. So this is definitely a cult. They're looking at the families. This is interesting. So they're handing down the information about the young people. So the information gathered is handed down. Information is handed down. It's handed down to someone. The information. See how she's handing it down to the young person, and then starts the mission. And this is going to get really quite interesting. So here they are at the bar scene, talking, not really paying attention. They're not really paying attention to their surroundings. Boy, they should. They should be paying attention to their surroundings. And then we have the cemetery scene. Here's the scene at the cemetery. And it feels like they even somewhat are aware. Look at the group watching in the cemetery. Wow. This is, okay. So I'm going to go to my go-to deck, which is my regular Robin Wood and my universal weight. And this is where I ask my serious questions. Is this group of serial killers, I believe it's a group. So is this gang-related serial killers, are they going to be caught? Are they going to be caught and exposed at some point? So they have a leader. There's the king. They have a leader that watches everything. I believe they could be even infiltrated into who knows where they have their fingers. I mean, if the police look the other way, maybe they've infiltrated into some of our, investigative departments. That's alleged. This is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only. So now we've got people. We've got people who are watching. At this point, we don't really know because they would need a lot more evidence. It looks like they need more evidence. They're weighing out the options of bringing this group down. And why isn't it? Okay, so the Fool, if anybody knows anything about the Fool, it's on top of a mountain. So this is higher. This is a hierarchy. This group has a hierarchy, and they really don't know who's at the top. They don't know who's at the top or how high this goes or how much it's infiltrated. But you guys, folks, they're always found in rivers. Look at the river down there. Can you see the river flowing? Their bodies are always found in rivers. Let me ask, why the smiley face? Why do they paint the smiley face on? I just want to know. So that's the organization. This is the organization, and that's the organization's symbol. So this is, obviously this is the Hierophant, which is the church card, but and the church is loaded, of course, with symbols, but the church card doesn't apply in this case. This is a large organization, larger than we even imagine. Just whatever you can imagine, it's way larger than what you can even imagine, and that is their symbol. That is the symbol. So that's very interesting, and it is a very evil group. Look at the weapons. Look at the weapons. So this is a very evil group. Wow. So that was my Robin Wood deck, and then I'm going to ask my universal weight. Is there anything being done to stop the group? Is there anything being done to stop this gang or group? So this is having, oh wow, and it is, and they are looking at wealthy families and the, affluent college age kids. So this is like, family, pay attention. This is about paying attention, and they're picking certain families. So they actually stalk these victims for quite a while. Look at that. It's all money driven. Oh, it's all money driven. I wonder if there's a payoff on the outside or in the dark web. There's some kind of money being exchanged for this. They're not just out murdering in cold blood. There's money. There's money being exchanged. So I don't know. It's kind of a sick agenda with the Five of Swords, but you've got two money cards there. And not that they're wanting ransom from the family or anything. They are just, there's some kind of payoff. Like it's like somebody could order a killing and, maybe they videotape certain things and then sell the tapes on the dark market of these college kids being killed. I'm just theorizing. That is my theory, okay? Only a theory. You might have your own theories. If you do, please post them in the comments. Be happy to look at them. Here's the veil. We don't know fully what is going on here. So even the cards, this is changing. This is changing so much. The group is changing so much, and there's so much secrecy around it. That's the High Priestess. There's a lot of secrecy around it. So Wow, the smiley face killers, you guys. This is serious. This is very, very serious. Smiley face murder theory put to the test. You know, so I don't know why there is so much resistance with the FBI and the police, but maybe this group is so big that they, you know, maybe the local level, they can't tackle a group this big. That is very, very possible. So if you want to discuss this further, or you wanted me to cover something about the murders that I didn't cover in here, please leave the comments below. But this is definitely looking like they keep them alive for a while, and I'm not just saying that, but the cards are definitely indicating that, and the detectives are saying the decomposition of the bodies is not consistent to how many days they're missing. So this is an evil agenda, and if you're going to put your prayers somewhere, let's pray that this gets stopped, because this is a horrific thing to happen to our young college students that, you know, are so valuable, these young men. So definitely, if you're a college student, please be aware. They're going to have to, you know, this has to be stopped somehow, and it maybe will start with the education of college students. You've got to be more aware. You got to be looking at anything strange. If somebody's leading somebody out of the bar, they're going to have to pay a lot greater attention, because maybe through education we can stop this. And thank you for listening to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your comments below on what your theories are regarding the smiley-faced murders.